Come on, y'all. Let's get up. 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 What a day. Come on. Let's get up. Let's get up. Let's get up. Let's get up. Oh, what a day. Come on. In faith, let's declare today is the day. Come on. Today is the day. Come on. We are them in there. We are them there. Yeah. Let's get up and let's be honest. Come on. Let's be honest with self. Come on. This is the day where each of us here, it's time for us to take a good look. Come on, at where we are here. Bigger than the issues, bigger than the noise that surrounds us in here. It's time for us all to be accountable. Yeah, accountable. That's the word of the day here. Accountable of our words, accountable of our actions, accountable with our decisions and the way we are here. Yeah, come on, let's get up. Let's get up. Let's declare. I'm going to be accountable. Come on. Come on, say it with me in here. I'm going to be accountable for the things that come out my mouth. I'm going to be accountable with the things I share on social media. I'm going to be accountable with what I assume about others in here. Yeah, let's be real about that in there, because far too many of us, right, calling itself counterculture, right? The reality is we got to actually go deep, right? Which culture are we actually talking about? Whose culture are we actually talking about it, right? Because to be the counterculture to anything, you have to first be aware of what the culture is. Yeah, I need y'all to hear that, right? Cancel culture, right? Purging. I'm seeing a lot of these, because a lot of the stuff you see, it's the same few, it's the same organizations. They come across as pro-God, pro-love, right? Anti-religion. In reality it's all the same. It's all the same. They may not have a denomination, right? But they still honor dishonesty, right? They still honor dishonesty. They still project other issues, right? Other people issues on the people that they should be what? Bringing up, right? And at the end of the day, the biggest thing about religion is evil. Right? Yeah, that's going to come across to some people as hate, but the reality is the evil I'm speaking on is the judgment, the lack of truth. Right? You got everybody with a microphone, right? But you ever notice those that have endorsements, right? You notice that the only thing that they ever speak of, right, is those that are not in their eyes. When the reality is what? Where did this system come from? It came from men. It came from men. It came from the flesh. We got to be honest with this, man. This thing that we call faith, nobody has a monopoly on it, man. Nobody could determine another person's relationship with God. And it's sad that so many of these guys, man, they calling themselves the counter of the church when they're the same as the church. There's no difference. They may not have a denomination. They may not have as many people. They may not have the amount of money, right? But the reality is they have the same makeup. Yeah. See, to be counter of it, you can't be of it, right? Can't be greedy. Can't be judgmental. Can't be selfish, right? These are things that every leader should really be working on before that they're actually in the eyes of leadership, right? Because selfishness is probably what's killing most of us, right? Selfishness, right? When you take a look at that, you actually break it down, right? I would never say, oh, these false prophets on the internet declaring Jesus' name, not me. You know why? Because I got a real relationship with God. Yeah, the Holy Spirit really hit me. I really understand that. Just because it may not look like I think it should look like, no way am I God, and I'm bigger than God to determine who he should use and how he should use them. See, that's the issue with religion. Religion tells people how they should judge how they're treated. And what you see with a lot of these so-called, right, counter to the church, you see the same thing. They'll tell you how you should be, how you should live, how you should sound, but it won't tell you, right? They won't tell you this. The relationship with God is not predicated on them. It's not predicated on who you honor. Just because they may follow somebody, right? Vain glory. They may think that these people cannot do no wrong, and they may justify it, right? That ain't love, and that ain't God. That's evil. That's actually deception. So telling people they should honor leaders that are not doing right is evil, right? Because you're telling people that they should accept something less than God, right? Nah, that's not true. If you're going to be counterculture, right? The counterculture to what we see in the religious system is people doing it for free. That's first. That's where it starts. If you are benefiting, traveling the world, getting paid, right? You're not the counter to the culture. You are part of that culture. You're benefiting from it. If you're making any type of return for what you're doing, you are not the counter to anything. You may look different, but you're not the counter to anything. You see, in this season, the true and the chosen, they're not going to look like the establishment. They're not going to have 1 million people behind them endorsing them. They're not going to look the part. They're not going to have $5,000 suits and pretty shoes and nice hair drills and all churchity and they speak. But they're going to have the heart of God. Yeah, they're going to have the heart of God. And the heart of God is about truth and love. It's not just about love. It's about truth and love. And telling people to honor anything that's not in love is far from the truth. You see, salvation is a personal decision to ask God to save you from you, right? Repenting is your personal decision to tell God you're sorry for the things that you do. You see, deliverance is God's gift, and it's His way of freeing you from you. None of this is predicated on where you go to church and who your leader is and how long your denomination and what your leader been doing and how many countries they done went to. None of that is of God. That is things of man and people and pride and ego. You see, all of that there is just another form of witchcraft. Because to be counterculture, right? That is meaning that you are walking in love, because this culture that we live is lacking the love. If you are counterculture, then you are not popular. You don't have a crowd and a following, and you're not endorsed, right? You don't have a network promoting you. See, counterculture is that. It's the counter to the norm. Because what we consider norm is far from what it should be here. You see, in a time where most people are struggling, right? If you actually be honest, right? 10%, right? It never says where you should take the 10. It just says if you give the 10, there will be what? Enough stored up in His house to what? Be a benefit to those that need. You see, the tithes are not there to support your lifestyle. It's not there to support what you want. It's not there to make you think that you're better than others. You see, that's for the people. It's a collection so that the people would go without. But let's talk about doing things in love. Let's talk about the counter to what we see on Facebook, right? Not monetized. I don't get paid for anything that I do, right? So let's look at this, right? Break down the time, right? 40 plus hours a week, right? Hardly nobody really wants to hear it. The establishment, they'll use bits and pieces and denounce the messenger, right? You see that all the time. No matter what network they are, no matter who they are under, they all do it, right? Then you look at it and you take a good look. You take a good look and you say, hey, right now in the state of this nation, right? The biggest thing that people need is love and resources. Here's what the question should be to the ones that are promoting anti-culture. What are you doing to really help anybody other than your pockets or your collection of people or these leaders that y'all worship? What are you doing for the average person that has nothing to give to you, that won't come to your church? What are you actually doing for the people that are in need? You see, these are things that I ask myself, right? Every day. And those that really know me, they'll tell you, there's not nothing in my life that I benefit from. Let me say that again. There's nothing in my life that I personally just benefit from. Everything in me, I share. I'm having a litter. What am I doing? I'm sharing. I could sell these puppies, but I'm sharing. Why? Because the world actually needs a counter to this culture. This culture of selfishness and greed and egotistical people pretending to be of Christ. Because that's all it is a bunch of pretending, right? Don't look like Christ. Don't act like Christ. Don't live like Christ. Why? Because Christ would be the anti-culture. He wouldn't be traveling all over the world, having all of these things, looking so nice while he's doing dignified. He wouldn't be doing any of that. Let's actually talk about what happened to Christ. Christ was killed. He didn't commit suicide. He was killed for speaking the truth, for standing on the truth, for promoting the truth. You see, the counter to Christ, right, is what you see now. Everybody promoting self. Everybody promoting money. Everybody promoting these networks, these unions, and these collective of people, right? But the question I always had is, what makes this different than that? They got less people. They probably got less money. But what is the real difference? And the reality is 14 years. I've been doing this thing for about 14 years. No help, no teaching, no mentor, nothing but God, right? So let's make sure we're honest about that. I don't get anything of it. My family, they'll tell you, we wish he stopped. We wish he stopped. We wish he'd take his time to go do something more productive. Let's be real. The religious folks who should know that is of God, they just want me to be quiet, or they want me to comply and follow in their image. They want a puppet. Very few people actually want the truth. And we should ask ourselves, why is it like this? Because the counter to this culture is Christ. But the counter to Christ is this culture. So if you're going to be a counter to the culture, you can't be of the culture. You can't be fed by the culture. You can't eat off the culture. You can't take from the culture. You have to be honest about your culture. See, God isn't going to speak to me about another culture that I have nothing to do with. Why? Because how would I be able to be relatable? You see, but that's all you see in those claiming to be counter church. How could everybody have the right life, the right actions, right? If they so perfect, then what is the need for God? What do we need God for if we all perfect? None of us fall short, right? Because people play. You will hear a lot of these people talking about mental illness, right? That's another thing I can't respect about these people. These people playing with mental health. I mean, listen. Those that know me, they're not even going to be surprised by this. Man, I wish I had mental health. I'll be getting that mental check too. I'll be getting that mental check because if I needed it, I'm going to go get it. I'm trying to get it. They won't give it to me. Why? Because I'm in my right mind. They may not like what I say, but I'm in my right mind. There's nothing distorted about what I'm saying. It's not popular. But I'm in my right mind. I'm honestly standing in my truth, right? I look back over my life, man, these last 13, 14 years, man, a lot of what I had to endure had nothing to do with me. You see, but many people ain't gonna speak on that, right? Let's speak on it though, right? Because they speak about a lot of stuff about me, but they don't speak about the truth, right? I stepped up, right? When I first met my wife, she told me these kids are a mess. I I said, well, they just need love. They just need a dad. They just need somebody to... I literally gave my life to my stepchildren. My life. Everything that they needed me to do, I put everything that I am on the back burner. Let's speak as to why. Let's speak to why, right? Because I was in that word. Because I was listening to people that said they leaders that were speaking from a place of counter love. There were people speaking on things that they had no idea what they were talking about. There were people that was lying on me about things that they have no idea how much they was actually lying. But that doesn't change anything. Sorry doesn't make everything better. Because you're finished doing the evil that you were doing to me doesn't make it over. You see, I'm a real one of them, man. I'm struggling with lack of forgiveness. Yeah, I struggle to forgive myself. I struggle to forgive others. See, I don't get on this thing, man, playing and pretending to be perfect. That is the most disgustingest thing I think about this cancel of the truth in this culture. We all live in a bunch of dishonesty. I wish I wasn't sick. I wish I was lying like them. I wish I was lying. I wish I wasn't facing cancer. I wish my body wasn't inflamed. I wish I didn't have a blood issue where my white cells, right? See, because they speak of everything but the truth. My white cells, right, are not low, people. No infectious diseases around here. In fact, what's wrong with my body? My white cells are about 6 and 7 million. They so high that they start to attack my other cells, my red cells, which in turn stops me from having enough oxygen in my blood. That's why sometimes y'all see me where my lips are black, or my skin is a different color, or my eyes may be low, or even yellow, right? But if I actually live like a lot of these fake people in the name of Jesus, I would expose them and show y'all these text messages of what these people be sending me in my DMs. And you could tell most of these people are just saying it to get a reaction out of me. But what disgusts me about is who these people are. These ain't regular people. These ain't non-believers. These people with churches and denominations and been doing this thing for probably longer than I've been alive. But ain't nothing truth about them. Ain't no truth about them. Ain't no love in it. How do I know? Because for 14 years, I watched people hate me for standing on my truth. That's it. They didn't hate me because I was taking from them. I wanted their position. I wanted to be like them. They hated me because I stood in my truth. Nobody taught me how to preach. I don't even like to preach. I don't even like to speak in front of people. I'm a very shy person who don't like crowds. You see, people have no idea what was challenging for me to be in the spotlight is exactly why many of them in the spotlight. Because they need attention. They need attention. They need attention. I need God. And where I'm at now, I'm going to be cutting these messages. I'm going to cut a lot of this. Why? Because it's time for me to get to a place in my life where things are actually productive. 14 years, y'all. People could talk a whole lot of nothings. But go to YouTube. Almost 1,010 messages. I think 1,010 messages. Personal time devoted to God. Right? Another 100 on TikTok. Another 500 was sent through emails, through voice memo 15 years ago. Come on, man. The time that I gave to him was never for me. See, everything I did for God, I sacrificed. My question with this body is, what is wrong with us? What are we really doing this for? What is the purpose of all of this? Because it ain't to help each other. It ain't to better. It ain't to pick up the loss. It ain't to do none of that, because none of that is happening. None of that is happening. None of that has happened. I have got zero anything from anybody that has anything to do with the church. Yeah, and I know that's hard for people to actually process that. I ain't never asked for a thing. I ain't never begged for a thing. None of that. I never charged nobody for a thing. Everything I have done, right, has been in love. What made me disgusted about this community is that's the issue. Here we are. Got to the school. And I think the problem is what got me is I gave everything for nothing in return. No. See, what I did it, why I did it, is because it was helping me. It was changing me. It was stretching me. It was growing me. But lately I realized it was occupying me. See, this carpool ministry was designed to help the children, right? Through helping the parents. And I'm realizing no one wants to be up. No one wants to hear this and hear. And I'm at a place in my life where I gotta actually devote my time to something different. Why? Because if this was God, right? And this kingdom was really of God, there's no way I'd still be where I am here. And I need people to understand that. I'm not talking about in the physical form where I am. Spiritually. How many people pick up the phone and ask me, was I okay? I'm literally going to have a bypass to see where this cancer is in my body. It's been going on for 2 years. You got people that speak on me, right? But how many actually spoke to me? Asked me how was I doing? Everybody know what type of kids my stepsons are, Vaughn and Fred. Everybody. How many people asked me was I okay? How many people have did anything other than lie? Pretending that they know. Because if you knew, you would know. If you really knew me, you would know I do everything from the heart. My issue is I'm selfless. How many of y'all gonna say that? Yeah, right? Because we talk about mental health, right? Yeah. This is somebody that has been working with a mental worker trying to find an issue. According to them, I was crazy. According to their church, I've been crazy. I've been off, right? But after 3 years, intensive trauma treatment, right? Really, this person is dealing with post-traumatic stress from his family upbringing. Yeah, you ready? From his church. Did the church physically do it to me? Nah. I did it to myself because how I saw the church. I saw the church as God. So I assumed that the church would act like God. That ain't true. So I'm not mad at God. I'm not even mad at the religious church people or the non-denomination church people pretending not to be church people either. I'm not mad at them either. I'm not pointing at them. I'm just done. I'm just over it. And those are my real family and my real circle. They're probably happy. They're clapping. You know why? Bro, the 27th I have a biopsy, right? The 30th I have tests to see what's going on internally, right? The 1st I have to go to see the surgeon to see what they're gonna do about this bulging disc in my back. We're not the same, man. We're not the same. We're not the same. And I'm not saying that there's nobody, because that's not true. I believe there's a lot of chosen, but the chosen are not what is being promoted. The chosen is action. The chosens, right? They were chosen to what? Overcome. They were chosen to overcome what? The realities of the life. that we live. To overcome our own choices, to overcome the heartaches, to overcome the fear. We were created to be set apart from the culture, right? To actually be the anti-culture will require you to be anti-culture. See, because we're not just talking about church. The culture in America, the culture in our government, the culture amongst church people, the culture amongst black people, the culture amongst white people. We all have different cultures, right? So to blanket all of us as the counter to anything is just deception. You can't be the counter to anything that you were never connected to. And I know to a lot of people that comes across as, nah, you can't. You can't. If all people know about you is how great you are, you're not the counter to anything. Everything in your life looks perfect. Everything in social media looks like something that you are orchestrating and creating. You're not the counter to anything but the truth. You're the counter to the truth. So you should know what that is. A big lie. And I think that's what makes me the most disgusted about religion. Bunch of liars. Just liars. Just like lying. And I think when I first got saved, I was like, man, the church is to help the sinner. Man, to me, what I realized, the biggest sinner go to church every Sunday. The biggest hating people go to church every Sunday. They're in the choir. They're on the board. They got titles. That's the biggest abusers that I've ever been around. These people that are the counter of love. The counter of love. Because love is an action. If you actively love me, you're going to make sure no matter how you feel about me, I'm not going to not eat. Right? But they could say that. There's many days I didn't eat. Many days I was outside with a tumor the size of a softball in my waist, dashing, delivering people food because it was all we could do to eat. So we're going to be a counter to anything. Let's be counter the deception that we tell. The deception that we live. Let's be counter to that. Because there's far too many people playing about somebody else's truth that they know nothing about. They couldn't walk in these shoes. They couldn't even wake up a day in my life and be me and still do it with a smile. They couldn't do it if they were who they pretend to be. Why? Because they ain't me. God created one of me. He created one of you. He never created none of us to be like each other. That's what the problem is in the religion. They tell you to honor things that are dishonest. Why? Because you should honor a mother and a father. But they ain't a mother. They ain't your father. They ain't never been your mother or your father. And they ain't never going to be your mother or your father. Why? Because a mother and a father, a real mother and a real father, is unconditional love. And most of these people, they only love with a condition. The condition usually is with the form of money. It could be with the form of money. It could be with the form of praise. It could be with the form of what? Y'all ready for this? Excusing the things that they do wrong. Conspiring with evil because who they are. That's what we should be counter to. See, we should be a people that we have a relationship with God, me, whoever. If you know it don't sound like God, it shouldn't even be any playback. It should be, no, that's not of God. And I'm going to counter that by doing something different. But that's not what happens. That's not even close to what happens. The reality is, if I took personal what these liars say, man, I really would have been crazy a long time ago. But the reality is, where they missed it, I stopped paying attention to that nonsense a long time ago. Why? Because I'm literally fighting every day to live. And I got babies, man. I got a baby right there. I got another baby that I'm picking up right now. They need me. Regardless of what these people, what they want to pretend about and lie about, I don't even care. That's why I'm doing it. I'm leaving it there. I don't care what they think. Who are they? Who are they? Because if we were together and we were a family and this was our kingdom, wouldn't have somebody came to check on the one? Wouldn't it have happened? No. What you saw was follow the leader and let's make up lies, right? And justify what it is that ain't right. And you see it on all non-denominations and denominations. It's no different. It's all the same. I actually used to think that the non-denomination guys was doing it right until you actually start to see their ego. Then you start to see the jealousy in them. Then you start to see the hate in them. Then you quickly realize, hey man, a lot of this is the same. See, that's why I had to take a step back, because I'm not of that. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to nobody and say, I'm one of them churchnese people that if you play with me, I ain't going to strike back. And that ain't me. I'm really a work in progress. Like, you hit me, I'm not going to just hit you. I'm going to stop you from ever hitting somebody else again. You see, I know I need God. I know what's in my heart. I know what's in my heart. I actually know who I am. I know what I live. I know my truth. My problem is with these people trying to portray somebody else's truth. That I can't live with. I can't live with that. I ain't gonna live with that. Because I ain't that type of person to play with nobody. I ain't gonna lie for nobody. I ain't gonna steal from nobody. I ain't gonna excuse doing wrong to people just because I'm selfish and I can't actually see that I actually did all the wrong to them. And I just always point at them when in reality I did it to them. That's why they would have chosen. They would have chosen that God is not going to allow, right, them people to destroy his people. That's why you were chosen. You were chosen by God that he's going to cover you, right? So that you can really be the anti-culture, anti-church culture, anti-black culture, anti-white culture. See, because you can't be anti-anything unless you were once part of. See, anti-sinning. Why? Because I was a sinner. I'm still a sinner. It's through the grace where I'm loved, forgiven in here. See, I'm not one of them perfect people pretending in here. I'm one of them that made the choice to let God pick me apart, let God put me back together again. But I'm taking a break from this because the reality is established religion and organized religion. For 14 years, there's not been a person that has helped me do anything. But I can find hundreds of people that told me not to, or it wasn't good enough. See, I'm anti that. I'm anti that. I'm pro-love and anti-deception. And too much of what we are promoting as God is not. See, to be the cancel culture requires that you have the power to cancel someone else. The only person that could do that is God. That's why nobody can't stop me, because they ain't done nothing to start me. What are they gonna do? Say don't watch him? What can they do? You get it? They ain't living the life. They ain't living that life. You get it? So the reality is, what can they do? They ain't living no life, really. They pretending. And I'm at a point where I'm tired of pretending with people. See me for who you are. You don't like it, don't like it. I ain't begging for attention. I ain't begging for a crowd. I ain't begging for a mic. I ain't begging for nothing. In fact, I don't want their mic. I don't want their promotion. I don't want their platform, because that stuff isn't of God. If they actually knew me, they would know that this is a conscious decision to stay away from what I do not believe is of God. See, I'm hoping that this will make it clear, so now they can actually hate me for something real. I actually do not desire to change anybody but myself. I do not desire to be better than anybody but the person I was. I do not desire to have more than you. I do not desire to pretend to be more than you. I just desire to be better, to be whole, happy, healed. Right? And if that's not okay with you, then hey, there's a great thing that we could do. And it could start with, ready? Removing yourself from what they do. Set apart. Right? Set apart. Right? Set apart. Instead of complaining about what they won't do, right? Set apart. By doing what? By doing what? Standing on what's right. Standing on what's right. By standing on what's right, no matter how it plays out. See, so let them cancel you. In my case, they can't cancel something that never was endorsed. What they gonna do? Not watch? They ain't watching anyway. But to those that are watching and do hear, I pray. That it's not me that you hear, but it's God that you hear. Because it's the God in us that's going to change where we are here. See, to cancel anything requires for you to remove yourself. See, I'm removing myself from anything that's not serving me. It's not serving my kids. It's not serving our life. And that goes for whoever you are. Whoever you are, whatever organization you take part in. This is just me telling you, bye. Pick somebody else to talk about. Get another discussion. And be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Because I'm going to let a lot of this in. I'm going to let a lot of this in. I'm going to walk away from a lot of this because I done gave all I could give in love. And if God didn't see fit for it to be, then it ain't for me to be. But I'm going to continue to serve Him, honor Him, and I'm going to do it in love. So be blessed. Until whenever you see me again. In the mighty name of Jesus.